And now a WBTV investigation is continuing to dig deeper into the background of the man police say shot and killed those 4 law enforcement officers. Today, our WBTV Investigates team uncovered court records that shed light on his most recent charges in Mecklenburg County.
And those records show Terry Clark Hughes Jr. was referred to a rehab program instead of being criminally prosecuted on a list of felony drug charges. Investigative reporter David Hodges is here with more on what he's uncovered. David?
Yeah, the case file from 2021 that I have right here details the last time Hughes was charged and arrested in Mecklenburg County. 4 of the drug-related charges, including 1 felony, were dismissed as the district attorney's office instead decided to refer Hughes to substance abuse counseling. Court documents show Charlotte Mecklenburg police arrested Hughes in May 2021 at his house on Retriever Way after he ran during a traffic stop. A search of the house found all of this: marijuana plants, grow tents, lights, and other paraphernalia. But charges related to his operation were dismissed by the Mecklenburg DA's office and instead, quote, referred to a substance abuse recovery program. There's no record showing whether he actually participated in that program. 3 other charges, including 1 for fleeing officers, continue to be prosecuted, but court records show Hughes skipped court twice and a warrant was out for his arrest from Mecklenburg County when the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force went to execute the Lincoln County warrants on Monday. I called the Mecklenburg County DA's office to ask why they dropped many of those charges. A spokesman declined to answer questions, but we'll continue to dig deeper into this horrific tragedy, and you can find more of our reporting on this case on WBTV.com. John?